and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode number 111 for the week of June 3rd, 2013. My name is Ryan Higgins, who is here with me this week.
Brock Sager.
Charlie.
And special guest returning once again.
Brandon.
Hello, Brandon. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Haven't seen you for a little while.
Yeah, it's been probably like a couple months. I think it was in like beginning of the year, January, December.
Yeah, you were around earlier. You were going to SF State, if I remember correctly.
Yep, that's
and
correct.
now you are done for the summer.
Yes,
Excellent.
Summer vacation is upon us.
How's that going?
Awesome. Just working.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
and yeah, pretty much.
All right. Toby is going to be joining us shortly. He's running a little late, so we're just going to start without him. No Omar, no Bryce this week. Actually, I was going to say hopefully they'll be here next week, but they are not going to be here next week. We are not going to have an episode next week. There's some prior engagements, and I will be busy, and we're going to skip a week, but that's fine because the week after will be our massive, epic, 9-hour-long Man of Steel spoiler cast. So, over the weekend after Man of Steel opens. So that should be, hopefully that'll be worth it.
We'll have at least seen it twice.
Easily. Easily twice. Are you excited for Man of Steel?
Oh yeah, totally. That's
Okay.
been ever since that first like teaser came out when Dark Knight Rises came out. I saw that. I knew that was the one movie I was going to be looking forward to for the next year.
DC has Warner Brothers has so much writing on this movie.
I know. That's the thing that scares me though. Like, there's so much writing on it that
What if it's not good?
I know. I don't think it's not going to be not good. I just hope that it doesn't. It's with this much of a hype. It's always a bad thing going into a movie like Superman.
You don't want to
See,
It's overhyped.
when you know you're going in with all your eggs in one basket like that. Sometimes puts people off.
yeah.
Yes,
So-
I agree. Like Dark Knight syndrome. Like when that movie was coming out, the build up to that was just like, oh my god, this is going to be the best thing ever. And it was. I mean,
But it was, yeah.
But still, like just going into that, there was so much writing on the line. Just very.
Yeah.
It's unnerving sometimes.
Yeah.
See, having that level of excitement is good because it typically translates to a huge box office in the first week.
Yeah.
Like,
But can it hold it?
Yeah.
Because Dark Knight did. Dark Knight was one of those rare movies
Yeah.
that made tons of money week 3, week 4, week
That's
5,
true.
week 6, which is so. Avengers kind of did the same.
Yeah.
You know, something like Iron Man 3. I mean, is that done? I mean, that's dropped off. I mean, you had so much hype that first week, but that's it, right?
But-
I mean, burns
but
out.
I mean,
it
as
made
you
enough.
said, it already made pretty much.
It made all the money it needs
However,
to.
they really only look at the first couple of weeks a movie comes out at this point. I mean, they
Right,
keep
right.
an eye on how much more money did we make, but they pretty much decide, are we interested in pursuing more movies, getting greenlit, and all that, all based on those first couple of weeks in the box office.
Right.
And,
So-
and for Man of Steel, though, it's interesting. It's like the past couple summers of comic book movies have been like sequels, and this has been the first first movie, Man of Steel. You know, 'cause I'm trying to think. There's been like Iron Man 2.
Green Lantern.
Oh,
was
Green
the
Lantern,
last
yeah,
one
but like
they
Dark
tried
Knight,
that.
all that stuff. There hasn't been like a beginning in a while.
Yeah.
I feel like so that's also pretty cool.
I mean, Avengers is
Yeah, but that's
it's
also a
sequel,
continuation of
right
Captain
of
America
everything.
forward.
Yeah.
So I think that should be pretty cool.
Yep.
It's always cool
Yeah.
to go and do a new origin story and see how he does it, especially with Zack Snyder. I mean, I liked Watchmen. I never saw what was the movie he did with all the girls.
Sucker Punch.
I never saw Sucker Punch.
Yeah, no, I kind of wanted to, and then I just heard just such terrible reviews. But he seems to do okay when it's not original material.
Yeah. And who's writing Man of Steel? It's the same David Goyer, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of the same people. Plus, I know Scott Snyder, not Scott Snyder. Jesus, I always say that. Christopher Nolan is kind of overseeing.
Yeah, he's like the
a lot of
producer,
the
he's
stuff.
like the producer or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be awesome. I just hope that it's as awesome as I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
I just hope lots of people go to the theater to see it.
I hope it's
I'm
as
sure they will.
I hope it's as awesome as Warner Brothers needs to make a Justice League movie.
Yes.
That's how awesome I hope it
Of
becomes.
course.
I hope it is. Well, we got a handful of questions here, and then a couple things to talk about this week. First question. Oh, hey, it's an email question. This is from Steve.
Holy crap, email, that's ancient.
Yeah, and this is actually getting into some retailer stuff, which I guess some retailer math for you guys later. So we'll do that a little.
Dude, I'm on summer, dude. School's over.
Well, yeah, no, we're not going to bore people right at the start of the podcast.
No, we bore them in the middle.
We'll bore you in a few minutes here. He asks, how do you sell something you don't really like yourself? For example, if someone asked you, what do you think of the Uncanny X-Men series, and you really don't like it, but you want to sell it? Where is the balance between helping someone and making a sale? You guys are.
Yeah, this is a question for you guys.
I'm here most of the time, but you guys are also the salesmen. So let me hear it.
I don't know. I tend to give my honest opinion if it's like I never say, oh my God, that is complete and well, okay. There are a few things I have said that's complete and other shit too.
But
that
you're
would
saying
not
it
be
to customers that you know you can
yes,
say it to.
Yes, but in general, I'll typically be honest if I'm like, I'm just not into this book or that. Like, pre the Marvel Now stuff, if people ask me about X-Men, other than like Wolverine and the X-Men, I just say, I'm just not into the X-Men books right now.
Yeah, I think.
And sometimes I'll follow up with that, but I've heard it's been good. I've heard some good stuff about it.
Well, one of the things that I always tell people that you have to do, if you go, look, Uncanny X-Men is not good. Don't tell them, this book's fucking shit. Just be like, look, it's not really my thing. However, if you like X-Men, here's a book that is similar that I do like. Yeah. Here's something, here's a Justice League, but whatever, or whatever the case may be.
Wolverine and the X-Men.
Sure, exactly. right. No, exactly. I mean, for me, again, there are customers where I'm like, that's terrible, don't waste your money. But if it's just random people coming in, I mean, it's the exact same thing. I'll just be like, I haven't really read it, or it's not really my thing, but, yeah. Someone likes it. I've heard it's good, so you can say that literally about every single title. But yeah, I'll always try to be, I don't know, that Green Arrow book wasn't very good, but it's going to be really good in a couple months when the new creative team comes, something like that. Yeah. So,
not to mention, no matter how crappy the current team on a book is, most books have been put out a number of times with some good creative teams that we have trades of. So,
yeah.
Like, there were a lot of people when Arrow was starting up on TV who would come in here looking for Green Arrow books, and I never pointed them towards the new 52 Arrow stuff. I always pointed them towards the trade section with
Year One or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I'd rather get something in somebody's hands that will bring them back to read more.
Yeah, because I mean, if I really think of, there's books like, okay, I wasn't a big Avengers fan for a very long time. But I would never tell people the book was bad. It just wasn't for me, because people may like it. But if it was a book like, man, I'm trying to think of something I really thought was terrible.
First Class?
X-Men First Class? Was that miniseries or whatever? The first X-Men?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the Neil Adams,
sure.
Crystal Stage stuff.
Well, the great thing about this is if I think a book is totally garbage, I probably don't have that many copies on the shelf.
For sure.
Because as much as I'm going to say, like, look, maybe I'm not the biggest Bendis fan, which I've actually really come around on Bendis the last, I'd say, year.
Me too.
Especially the all-new X-Men's been really, really good. If it's that bad, Batman Odyssey or X-Men First Class, I'm not trying to pick on Neil Adams, but just trying to think of that Green Arrow book is a perfect example. It is a book where I was getting like 2 shelf copies for just because it was that bad. Very few people liked it.
Yeah.
When I'm not buying it and it's a DC book, that's bad.
I actually have a question regarding Neil Adams stuff, like the Batman Odyssey you're saying. I was at the library, got a library card, starting to check out some graphic novels. Being a poor college kid, you gotta get your fix somehow.
Sure.
But Batman Odyssey, wasn't that like supposed to be like low key, like intentionally bad? Like, wasn't it supposed to be over the top? Like, it's not supposed to be like.
I have no idea,
because I don't know. That's what I've heard from other people. Like, it's like so over the top and like wacky. Like, it's supposed to be bad. Like, but it's like fun. I don't know.
I don't think Neil Adams thought it was bad. Yeah. I just think he. Well, what's so funny? So over the weekend, I was pricing up a bunch of books, and I came across this big one, a Superboy. And in the, I want to say, early 70s, Neil Adams did a bunch of covers for Superboy, right? The inside of the comic's still the normal garbage 60s, 70s DC stuff. But those covers, between the issue before it and then the issue that he did, it's like, this is mind-blowing. The difference is incredible. And you see everything in modern art, modern comic book art, that is. All the stuff, and clearly inspiration on guys like Jim Lee and all the 90s guys and 80s guys that came in, and Frank Millers and all these different guys. It's like, man, everything came from this guy. This guy really did completely. It's just mind-blowing going from one issue to the next. And then you just look at now, it's like, man, there's just so many of these guys, they just can't keep it in the later years, and it's so depressing. I mean, he's a fantastic artist, just not his current stuff.
Yeah, flipping through that Batman Odyssey, it just looked so.
Yeah,
it's a style that I've never really been as a young person. I wasn't around for the Neil Adams golden years. So I haven't really gone back to look at that stuff. But the art in those books it just looks like not really. It looks bad, but just interesting. Just like what is going on in this, especially this Batman stuff, where like Bruce Wayne has his shirt off and the hair on his chest and all that.
That's like the Morrison. What the hell is Morrison calls him like the hairy sex god Batman version. Yeah, so good.
Are the Neil Adam like Batman trade still in print?
I think the soft covers maybe are. The hard covers aren't, but I want to say the soft covers maybe are. Like the Neil Adams Illustrated, I think they're called. The Batman Illustrated.
Yeah.
I've seen the hardcovers.
Yeah, they're really nice.
Yeah.
And that's all like the introduction of Ra's al Ghul and a bunch of other great characters.
Which
So
I will forever love him for. So
yeah, exactly. We go in here from Ilio, who asks, "Hey guys, cool question. Have you ever read Preacher or Punk Rock Jesus? Are there any other comics in that vein? Both comics seem great. About thinking about picking them up, and I want a second opinion. Thanks for your help." We were actually talking about Punk Rock Jesus before we started recording because we were talking about The Wake, which is the new book by Scott Snyder and
Sean Murphy.
Sean Murphy, yeah, who's the artist and writer and artist on Punk Rock Jesus.
Yeah, he wrote it, right?
Right?
And did the art. Yeah.
Yeah. I tried reading Punk Rock Jesus. I liked it, but I couldn't stick with it issue to issue. I think now that it's out in trade, I'll have to read the whole thing because I love his art, but the story just wasn't grabbing me. But
it's a black and white book too, and with his pencil, it's kind of intense to look at first. There's a lot of stuff going on in each panel and each page.
Yeah, I just want to kind of sit down and read it all in one sitting because I think that's the way to do that. Preacher is one of my favorite comics of all time.
Agreed.
So I think everyone say that. I mean, I can blind recommend Preacher. I mean, unless you're super offended by...
Unless you're a Bible thumper.
Yeah, unless you're super...
You don't recommend it to Bible
I was going to say, like, for me, I always try to get to know the person a little bit before I
Before you recommend Preacher,
He's
you
asking
can't
about-
recommend it to anyone.
He's asking about Punk Rock Jesus. I think he's okay with Preacher.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, he was asking for suggestions other than Punk Rock Jesus and Preacher.
Well, but he was thinking about picking those up and then other things in those vein.
Oh, okay.
So...
But definitely, I recommend Punk Rock Jesus. I read it in issues. I thought it was a great story. I liked it. I mean, the black and white artwork. Sometimes I wish there was a colorist on the book, but other than that, it was a solid story. It was fun. It was weird, very weird. It's just like Preacher, like a lot of weird twists and turns. But overall, it was an awesome story. I'd recommend that. Especially, it's going to be a good hardcover.
Yeah.
Or is it coming out in hardcover?
There's a softcover
Or a
up for it
softcover?
right now.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good trade to have and give out to your friends and stuff.
Yep.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, Preacher is one of those books that, will always be on my 5 first go-tos of, you want to read a comic? Let's get away from superheroes. Here's one for you.
It's definitely not number one, though, because, like I said, you have to get to know the person before handing in the first trade of Preacher. I mean, there's some issues, especially in that first trade.
Evangelist? Preacher.
Especially towards the end, like with the buddy cop story and that stuff. That gets a little intense. But no,
and all the animal sexing.
Oh,
and
there's
all the incest and their inbreeding.
The meat lady.
Yeah,
into the
meat people.
Wild mind of Garth Ellis.
Yeah.
In terms of current issues that you might be able to say,
Garth Ennis. I said Garth Ellis.
push some of the boundaries in sort of the same way. I might point towards like 10 Grand or Chin Music. Both kind of had angel and demon overtones to them.
I heard Chin Music was confusing as all hell, though. I heard it was
both of them were kind of all over the place. But
Well, Chin Music's Ben Templesmith, right? Isn't he the artist on that one?
No, it's Tony Harris.
Oh, it's Tony Harris. Oh,
Yeah.
never mind.
It's
Ben Templesmith did 10 Grand.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, I don't know. I enjoyed both of them enough that I'm looking forward to checking out the next issue.
Yeah.
But
Fan variants of both can be bought at Comic Conspiracy's eBay store. Go search for those.
Jeez, you're horrible.
Oh, I know.
But any other
I just
recommendations?
like how it gets quiet during the
like-
play.
Just so you know, we have fan variants you can buy.
I would.
I'm trying to think of another book to recommend based off those two.
I mean,
Like you
Preacher,
said.
Transmet.
Preacher and Transmet, right?
Yeah.
Transmet
Yeah.
always is my number 2 for Preacher. If you like Preacher, try Transmet. If you like Transmet, try Preacher.
Yeah.
There's your Warren Ellis. So, I don't want to say nothing as good as ever come out of Vertigo, because clearly there was some good stuff. I would argue better stuff before that's Sandman, and there's been some fantastic stuff since. But that Preacher and Transmet, those years, there's some pretty good years. I really think those will always stand as 2 of the best series from DC. And I think a lot of it because it has an ending.
Yeah.
I love Fables, but I don't love it as much as I did 60 issues in. Now that we're 120 issues in,
Yeah. Is there an ending for that book in sight? Have you announced it? It's just straight gonna.
it's gonna go forever.
I'm getting the encyclopedia when it comes out.
Oh, I heard about that.
And it's cool. I mean, I still like Fables, but after 100, it's kind of Walking Dead a little bit too.
Yes,
but
I agree.
But Fables, I've just come in like, okay, well, I don't know where are we going. Like some of these things don't always need to go
The thing
forever.
this is. I mean, whenever I upsell Fables to people, I always tell them you have to read 2 trades. at least.
Sure. But
Because
now
the
we're on
first
20.
Well, I know, but the first
That's
one's a
the problem
standalone, and then the second one kind of carries us on. And the second one carried us on to a story that ended, like you said, kind of
Like in the 60s or 70s
no,
or something?
I would say it ended when it was the war when the war finished.
Yeah, when was that? Like
So
in
that
the
was like
80s?
it was like
maybe?
80s, 90s.
Yeah.
And on top of that, aren't there like 3 or 4 series that have branched off, like
Yeah.
Peter of Fables?
Oh, Jack of Fables.
Jack of Fables, yeah.
Jack of Fables
Peter
was
and Max
okay.
was like another book they did, was like a novel or something.
Yeah,
It was
no,
like
they
a-
have, and Fairest I think is actually a decent way to have just like an anthology of characters from it. So Fairest is okay. I hope that'll last. But yeah, I don't know. Those two will always kind of be my go-to recommendations for people that want to check those books out.
Definitely. Yeah.
Let's read a couple Twitter questions here, and then we'll. Well, some of these are actually in reference to some of the big news this week, so we can kind of skip those because a lot of that stuff I think will get answered in our question, but or in our in what we talk about. Let's see. Oh, no, good for that. Okay, no. Okay. How do you guys feel about Injustice's new DLC character? Did you know who this is? Scorpion.
What?
You hear this?
That's very weird.
Yeah. Does DC own Mortal Kombat now or something? Or?
Well, the game's made by the people who made
Right.
Mortal Kombat, so
it's Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, they did the Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe like a couple years ago, right?
Yeah.
It's basically.
But this is a strictly DC video game, though, so that's kind
Yeah.
of weird to drop
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
strange.
I don't know.
Unless Scorpion's going to be one of the new villains.
Is it so you can
villain
Well,
reenact
next.
the cover?
I watched the weird little video they did, sort of promoting it, because they actually had Jim Lee redesign Scorpion's look and stuff to make him more DC.
So they gave him a
Yeah.
collar.
Yeah, burn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it looks like it's going to be another one of those weird world jumping kind of things based on his little opening.
Yeah.
So does
And
DC
it
own
almost
Mortal
looked
Kombat?
like they gave Scorpion a finisher.
How did they? Huh.
So that's a little weird.
Interesting where they go with it. This one's from Don on Twitter. He asks, will any of the new 52 books reach the price of Walking Dead #1 or Saga #1? And please explain.
No.
No.
And the answer is no. And the reason...
I'm not even a retailer, and I know that. No.
No, the answer, there's one reason and one reason only: supply and demand.
Mm-hmm.
All those new 52 #1s, or any of the new 52 books, are printed in the tens, if not hundreds of thousands of copies, available all over the place. Walking Dead #1, I want to say the print run
Wasn't it like
was
3 to
rough.
7?
3 to 7,000. No, it was. I want to say it was closer to 25 to maybe 3,000, maybe at the max 3,000 copies. Saga #1, I'm actually really surprised it goes for what it goes for. That, I think, is a really temporary thing. I don't think that's going to stay with that price, especially in
I've
a
noticed
few
that
years.
Saga's going for a lot of cash on
Yeah.
eBay. Especially that one variant for the first issue is going for like $350 or something. But that's
Yeah. Saga #1 will probably tap out at about 100. That won't. I don't think that's going to last. Walking Dead again won't last, but it'll take a long. It'll average out at a couple grand.
It's like remember Morning Glories #1? That was
Yeah.
going for a
and
ridiculous
that's
amount.
kind of calmed down a
That's
little
calmed
bit.
down. Like
Yeah.
Peter Panzerfaust and all that stuff. All those Image books were going for a lot of money.
Those are all going to come down as more speculators have tried to enter and failed. I've seen, and I've mentioned this on the podcast before, I've seen so many speculators just drop out already because they're just, I can't flip Peter Panzerfaust #10 for what I want to flip 1 for, and it's so stupid. And it makes me so mad that people aren't actually. Plenty of people are reading these books, but I know a lot of people are just pure speculation, and that's I hate it. I hate it so much. This is from Jaden. That's an easy question. What are everyone's top 3 favorite ongoings from Marvel and DC right now? I don't know. Are you
Total or each?
I'd say each. Are you reading anything right now?
Yeah, I'd say definitely Marvel Uncanny Avengers with Rick Remender. It's pretty much, if you read the Uncanny X-Force series that he did, this is a direct continuation. It's dealing with the apocalypse, like the Apocalypse twins are now involved, it's a really crazy story, and the artwork is really cool. Daniel Acuna is doing it. Really, really interesting stuff. And it's like a really cool throwback, kind of like the 80s Marvel, like with the Scarlet Witch and like Wonder Man and all that kind of like drama that's going on in the Avengers Mansion is back. And it's just really crazy and funny. I really like Remender. And like I said, Bendis X-Men, I'm really, really digging what he's doing on all new X-Men. I like Uncanny X-Men as well.
I like all new X-Men more than Uncanny.
Yeah, Uncanny X-Men, the art though is Fraser
Irving.
Really,
He's
really
amazing.
cool. Yeah, he's awesome. And then for DC, I've been reading a little more Marvel lately. Just I've been catching up on stuff. But for DC, I've been reading. I like Justice League of America. From what I've read the first 3 issues. I really like where that's going. The Jeff Johns and David Finch stuff. And then Green Lantern. I mean, Jeff Johns' last couple issues, including his last issue, was awesome.
Yeah.
That's definitely a highlight.
See what happens Wednesday, actually. Yeah,
it comes out this week?
Yeah.
And then, of course, Batman, DC, Scott Snyder.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Really stoked for Zero Year or whatever. It's going to start next week or a couple of weeks.
A couple weeks. I think it's week. I think it's
I think that's going to be really cool.
It's
really interesting to see where that goes. So I'm excited for that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to count Green Lantern because I don't know how I'll feel about it after Wednesday.
Well, it's your favorite now. I mean, you can count it if you want.
It's Flakov that's redoing it now?
It's not Wednesday.
Well,
No, it's Robert Venditti. He's writer on. He was writing Demon Knights.
Demon Knights,
Actual Man of War,
which is
Valiant.
really good. So.
Yeah, which is really good.
I'm hopeful for Green Lantern, but I'm not going to count it till Wednesday.
Who's doing the art?
Who's doing the other?
Billy Tan? Billy Tan? Philip Tan? No, Billy. It must be Billy Tan.
Yeah,
one of the
Philip Tan was
who's-
the Grant Morris, Batman and Robin arc with the Red Hood. That was
Billy Tan's. He's okay.
I heard I don't like Philip Tan stuff personally. He's just weird. He did like some of the Hawkman stuff, I think, in New 52. That was really bad. But Billy Tan did some of the Bendis Avengers stuff. I'm trying to think. I think he did some of the Messiah Complex of the X-Men. I'm trying to think. That's the last stuff that I've seen him. He's all right. That should be interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's
So
Billy
my
Tan.
3 would be Batgirl, Wonder Woman, and Batwoman.
Girl power.
Yes, I'm going to give it to Girl Power this time.
With your
And
Marvels.
then Marvels would be the Wade Hulk, All New X-Men, just because, as you guys said, that book has been fucking awesome.
Definitely.
And I think I kind of want to do Daredevil, but it's kind of slipped for me a little right now.
Did you read this week's?
I heard that issue was amazing. IGN gave it like a 9.8 from what I read.
Did you read this week's Daredevil?
Yes.
And it's not on your top list?
I want to see,
Do you want to see where it goes?
like most things, it kind of reached this sort of like, I'm enjoying the current arc, but I was enjoying the previous arcs more.
No spoilers, because I don't want to spoil Daredevil because this issue's crazy crap.
Yeah.
You got to go read it and catch up. Maybe we'll talk about it in a couple of weeks. Yeah. But it has actually one of my favorite panels in recent memory. And you'll know the panel just by me talking about it. The panel when the guy gets back on the elevator. And the word balloon's half cut off by the elevator door. That, I think, is one of my favorite panels in recent memory. Go pull out that issue.
Get caught up on that stuff.
Go if you're reading Daredevil and you don't remember exactly what I'm talking about, go back and relook at that page. When he's getting back on the elevator, not off the elevator, back on the elevator. One of my favorite tricks I've seen in the comic recently.
You know, I'm going to give it to Daredevil just because I think
Hey.
Daredevil has been better than
convinced him.
Hawkeye.
Oh,
And Hawkeye was the other one.
you
that
just
was
made the
sort of-
internet mad.
The internet's always mad at me.
They get all their feels on their Tumblr. They can take a few hits.
You know, I
I'm
read
just trying to make our forum active
Oh
again.
yeah, Forum active again.
I read the first couple issues of Hawkeye, like the first 3 or 4, and I wasn't really into it.
I didn't do anything for
It's just
me.
the Matt. What's the Russian guy that always says like the stupid thing over and over
Bro.
again, bro, and that stuff. It was just
I'm right there with you.
I
It really bugged me.
I don't get what everyone's hyping. Even my uncle, that's one of my. He's always telling me what he's reading. He always Hawkeye. Oh my god, it's so good. I read it. I'm like, oh, it's not for me. Seems like everyone's raving about it. But
Yeah. Brock.
Me included. It is awesome.
What you digging?
I think I'm only reading 3 Marvel books, so
So you should be quick.
yeah, it's Thor, Hulk, and Daredevil.
Cool.
So.
Yeah, I just
How the fuck did I forget about Thor?
I know.
about to say,
I was sitting
dude.
here going,
I was gonna
Charlie's
say that.
pick Thor, and I'm going to sound like I'm repeating everything he's saying.
Hulk has not been doing it for me.
I agree.
Part of it is just, I just don't like Hulk. So I've never been a Hulk fan. But go ahead.
I mean, the Walter Sampson stuff that they're doing right now is kind of a little awkward, but I've been enjoying it so far.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
because I like the direction they're taking.
Yeah.
For DC, I mean, I'd probably have to go with Suicide Squad, Batman, and a tie with Animal Man and Swamp Thing.
Okay.
I love how you always have to put those two together.
Well,
I can't
Well,
separate them. It's like they
are
come out
together.
the same week,
But they
and
are
I'm literally
separate.
sitting there going,
But they are separate
which
now.
one am I going to put at the bottom of the stack? I can't. It's I have to flip a coin.
But they're here comes Toby. Perfect timing. But they are separate now. There's my phone. For Marvel, for me, I mean, it's easy. It's Thor, Daredevil, and all new X-Men. Hey, Toby. Yeah, I'm gonna pull a Bryce. Hey, Toby, think of your top 3 Marvel and top 3 DC books and sit down. Putting you on the spot.
I'll bet you one's being canceled.
For DC, Batman Incorporated, no question asked. Batman Incorporated is amazing.
Batman
go
Incorporated
Earth 2.
isn't amazing. It's Bat Cow.
Bat Cow is amazing.
You don't like Batman Incorporated. You just like Bat Cow.
Bat Cow is amazing. Yeah, Batman and Green Lantern. I'm going to hold off on those. I mean, Batman's amazing, but I'm going to try to pick something different. And Green Lantern's kind of done. But what to say? Earth 2. Loving Earth 2. And I'm still going to give number 3 to Justice League Dark. God, I love that book. That book is so
great.
good. And it's like I've always wanted a Vertigo Justice League, and now we have one. I love it. I love it so much. Toby, what's up? You been reading anything? You caught up on some books?
No.
Come on. Okay, I'm going to tell you. Okay,
I was going to read the new X-Men book, but
your 3 top Marvel is Gambit,
yes,
Young Avenger, or Young X-Men. No, Young Avengers. I'm sorry, Young Avengers.
I had higher hopes for it, to be honest.
It's not
So you
enough.
are current on a book.
Missing maybe like 1 or 2 issues on that one. Yeah.
There's not enough Hawk Girl for you, huh?
Yeah, she needs to be more in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Scarlet Spider.
And the other girl's cool too.
Oh yeah.
Scarlet
Spider.
There you go.
I didn't like the last arc of Scarlet Spider.
Yeah.
But I'll come back on.
Well, I'm behind, so it's still cool.
In your DC books are Batgirl. I know you like Batgirl.
I'm just naming all
and
the
Nightwing.
I was just like,
Toby's
I know.
barely even talking.
I'm like, sure.
I know. I know what he likes.
That's because he
He
judges
always
by
does
the
that.
cover.
I know what
So
Toby
it's
likes.
Batgirl,
Oh, and Little
Nightwing.
Gotham. There's
Yeah,
third.
yeah.
There's your
Little
favorite.
Gotham's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
That's the only one I'm reading right now.
Yeah.
No
Yep,
Nightwing?
yep, I said Nightwing. So Batgirl, Nightwing, and Little Gotham. Maybe not Batgirl. Do you not like Batgirl?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm so behind.
Yeah, okay. That's fine.
Well, it's been very good.
I think Little Gotham, Gambit, and I don't know. That's probably the only things I'm current on.
Yeah.
I was gonna try and read that new X-Men book for today, but
Oh, with the X-Men #1?
yeah, I was
I heard
really.
that was awesome.
Yeah, I was trying really hard to get that done before I come in, but that didn't work.
It's-
the X-Men.
It's
Heyo.
I did watch the Coldplay Game of Thrones over lunch, though.
oh,
Yeah.
maybe we'll have a very small spoiler cast at the end of this. X-Men #1 was a 7.0 by the numbers Brian Wood generic story for me. It didn't do what I wanted it to do.
Storm's boobies are out.
All
Did
right.
you watch the X-Men anime?
Me?
Yeah, obviously.
anime?
Well, it's anime, so he didn't watch it now.
Yeah. Obviously, didn't watch it because
The old school stuff?
No, the anime.
No, not the anime.
I haven't even got
if
into
you
the
like
anime
Storm
yet.
boobies, I definitely recommend you go watch that.
Well, here's a very last-minute Twitter question that we're going to read here. This is from Joshua on Twitter. He asks, who is a very active member on our New Geekbox community forums on Facebook. Do a Facebook search
Is it
for
actually a
Geekbox
forum?
group, and we get a lot of people on there. Yeah. It's a group, all right. Who asked? He has a couple questions here, but I'll read this one quick one before we wrap up. This is: are there any legacy characters, Wally West, Bucky, Miles Morales, you prefer to the original incarnation? Meaning, and the problem with that is half the DC characters that are, they're not Jay Garrick, and they're not, they are legacy characters in them themselves. So
Yeah.
something like
I really want Nightwing.
Barry
to
Allen is
still be
not.
Robin in pixie boots and everything. No, I'm joking. No,
You prefer your Nightwing in a disco suit.
no. I
mean-
want that to be forgotten.
Oh, he named Wally West. Easily one of my favorites. I love Wally. I love Wally so much, and I really miss him. And I like Barry's fine, and I like Jake Garrick too.
That's where it's sort of like, because as you said, I really like Wally, but I'm not sure I'd say I like Wally better than Barry.
I do.
Where I get a little stuck.
I like Barry, but I really like Wally. And it's not that it's just because that's where I read, because I like Hal more than Kyle, but that's a more recent change because prior to Jeff Johns' runs, I probably didn't like Hal more than Kyle.
You probably didn't have an opinion.
Well, Hal was always kind of boring to me. Like when I started reading comics, he was kind of that old guy, and he wasn't doing much at that point. And the interesting thing was when they killed him. So Blue Beetle, not Jaime Reyes, but
I was about to say, there's no way I'm going to say that I liked Jaime Reyes better than Ted Kord.
but Ted Kord.
Yeah,
is
Ted Cord.
Yeah.
Ted Cord I like.
this is the second Blue Beetle. So
Yeah.
again, a lot of the
And
DC
I mean, if you're going to
characters-
get into legacy characters that way, like most of the people in Jeff Johns' JSA run would classify for that as
Right.
characters that I'm more attached to than
Sure.
their original counterpart.
I mean, I think Marvel is one of the Marvel has not had a good history of legacy characters. There's been a couple that are okay, but I mean, the ones that are introduced at the beginning are still the best. So, or DC.
Oh, I got one.
Was that
Iron Patriot.
for then Iron Man,
No, then fucking
Or the
Green
War Machine?
Goblin. Fuck that shit.
Green Goblin?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, the Dark
Oh.
Avengers.
When he was Iron Patriot?
Yeah. Fuck that shit. Hit the Goblin back.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
there we go. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got a few things to talk about here. Let's see. The big news this week actually happened today on Monday. DC announced they are going to launch Villains Month in September, which had been long rumored, and there's going to be a 7-issue, I believe, miniseries from Jeff Johns called something.
Forever Evil.
Yeah, thank you, Forever Evil. I closed my page.
Sounds like the song.
That's okay.
I
It's
want
Jeff
to
Johns,
be
and
forever
I'm excited.
evil.
Just so everyone knows, sometimes I'm subjected to Ryan trying to sing or ad-lib music at the stop,
It's good
and my
times.
ears start bleeding.
It's always the best new wave. Okay. DC is also, depending on how you look at it, they're doing something kind of bizarre. They're actually going to be increasing all the prices on their books to $3.99 across the board
Damn villains!
for the entire month.
Gouging our pocketbooks.
But there is a reason. It's because every issue is going to have this sort of 3D kind of lenticular cover thing.
Hand job, and I'll be happy.
That's going to
Low
be
90s.
that's going to be on their covers. Now, that's been the reaction of a lot of people. I think this could be really cool depending on how it looks. It's not some sort of like glued on thing. They said this is actually part of the paper, some new technology they did. I'm really curious what this is going to look
What are they
like.
printing these on 3D printers?
I don't know. I
Well-
don't think that's how that works. But I actually talked to multiple people at DC and said, can you please send some to stores before orders are due? Because I want to show these off to customers so we can really see what they look like. So I'm very, very hopeful that we see them pretty soon in stores so we can actually see what these look like. People kind of scoff at variant covers and gimmicks and shit like this. And if you did it every month, yeah, it'd be stupid. Those die-cut covers for DC sold very, very well, despite the material inside not always being representative of what was on the cover. And again, this is something that I think would look really neat, stand out. Do people want to pay an extra $1 for it? No, probably not. But if it's 1 month anniversary thing, I'm okay with it. But and they already said they're not going to go to $3.99 across the board. But again, if they did, yeah, I mean, bitch all you want. But I think this is kind of cool. What do you guys think? Anyone into this or?
I'm into it. I mean, bottom line is I roll my eyes at the gimmick, but I always want to check it out.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about it. It's the way they make it sound like it's going to be sort of doing the sort of layer, so you kind of get that effect of as you turn, you can see a little bit. Like, I think that sounds kind of cool, especially since, as we've talked about with this villain month, it had to be clear, like what issue this came out of, and it sounds
Right.
like by doing it this way, it should be very clear.
Well, they're actually they are showing you exactly which book it comes out of because, contrary to something they even say, it is a 1-to-1 transfer. All the books have a 1-to-1 transfer, with exception of a few of them, including Batman, Detective, and I believe Justice League, which are actually going to have a couple issues in the month. So the way they're doing this, and ready for Brock's response. So, like, they're going to be issue 23.1.
Yay, go the Marvel .1 route, you dumbasses.
So,
Well,
like,
some of them are going to go all the way up to 0.4.
right.
Holy
so,
crap, Fear itself. Let's beat Fear itself.
so Batman is 23.1, the Joker, 23.2, the Riddler, 23.3, the Penguin, and 23.4, Bane.
You know what's funny? I would just be happy with 23 Joker, 23 Riddler,
But
23.
this way, I much more prefer the .1. Okay, because we're this far into it. The .1s, the .AUs, it doesn't matter.
I want
they sell.
I want the pie.
People
issue.
bitch about it, but I'll tell you what. They sell perfectly fine. No one cares. So clearly, no one cares. This is fine. And 2, this keeps it numerically in the series, which I swear to God, had they been like, oh, it's just called Joker #1, I would have killed everyone. Because how the hell are you going to sort that? This is the correct way to do it. Now, whether you don't like the point ones, whatever, fine.
0.4.
I am totally fine with this. The point one thing is stupid. However, this is fine. At this point, it's accepted.
It's because DC's doing it.
But at this point, have I bitched about Marvel doing this at all recently? No. It's like they still do the point ones, they do the point AUs, and it's like we may have bitched initially, but whatever. They all sell perfectly fine. No one cares.
I think the only thing that really amuses me about the AUs is the amount of systems out there I've noticed who didn't have the capability to do the AUs because it had to be a number.
It definitely shows up in my system as, so if it's like 10 and then 10 AU, it just shows up as 10 again. Mm-hmm. It's the same number, yeah. So
I noticed it's that way on Marvel's website too.
Oh, is it really? Great.
It took me a while to catch on to the AU thing. I didn't understand what that was for a while. That was weird. Yeah. Like I know Uncanny Avengers did that 8 AU, and it was like number 8.
So I will say that in the case of, because I'm looking at the solicitations here for Batman, I can understand why some people may not like this, because Batman 23.1, The Joker, is written by Andy Kubert. 23.2, The Riddler, is written by Scott Snyder, and actually part of the year 0 or the 0 year stuff. 23.3 is written by Frank Terry. 23.4, the Bane ones, are written by Peter Tomasi. So these are not by the ongoing creative teams, so they were basically just one shots. But they took some of their best selling books. And clearly, the Batman ones you're going to want is because the Batman villains are obviously the dominant set of villains. So expanding that out is like fine. And
so we're going from 52 books to how many books?
No, you're getting 52 books because they're expanding these out. Remember, DC's canceled a lot of books.
Yeah,
and they're not. But aren't they starting up stuff before this?
No. There's going to be a few books coming out of this. There's going to be a couple tie-in minis so the villain thing. What the hell is it called? Fear Eternal. What the hell is it?
Forever Evil.
Forever Evil.
Forever Evil.
Oh yeah, there we go. I want to be forever evil.
Sounds like a Bond song.
So Forever Evil will be the first event miniseries from DC. Mm-hmm. So there's like the tie-ins to it.
Yeah. I'm skeptical on the David Finch stuff because I know he's not a very good monthly artist. He doesn't keep on track. So is that going to cause delays, or is it going to be? Is it going to affect his quality? I don't know.
Well, he's not. He'll only do one issue, right? He's not going to do like multiple things.
Well, isn't the Forever Evil? Isn't it? It's a miniseries, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think it's coming out just once a month. I don't.
No, it sounded like it was going to be weekly.
Weekly for the month.
Is he? Well, maybe he's off stuff then. Maybe that's not why. That's why he's not doing stuff right now. Because isn't he off?
He Brett Booth did Justice League. Number 4.
Yeah. So he's been off. I don't think he's doing anything, so maybe I didn't realize it was weekly. Huh. Oh, well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Again, works for Age of Ultron, so why not?
Yeah, that's true.
Which we still haven't seen Ultron.
I don't think you're going to.
Any event. No. I get into these kind of gimmicks. I think the only thing that I found kind of interesting with the idea of sort of like the Joker book and that kind of stuff is I wonder how much of these stories are going to be set in what we consider current time periods, or are they all going to be sort of...
Yeah, are we going to get like a 0 issue thing where some of them are nice origin stories and some of them aren't?
I would assume they're all current because there's a lot of classic villains, but for all the ones that aren't classic villains...
So you think we're going to find out where the Joker is right now, or do you think they're going to pull that back to a more... Like that for me is a thing. There's certain characters that they are rolling out on this that sound like the characters that they've purposely shelved at the moment, but don't want to leave out of Villain Month.
Let me look. Let me read the solicitation here, because I would assume.
Way to go, Charlie.
I would assume these will be just in current continuity, but I don't know.
So is Joker without the face or with the face?
The cover looked with the face, so
Joe's garage or a purple suit.
Well, because it appears the Riddler one is.
Well, yeah,
but actually,
that's, again, 0 year. So
yeah,
are all of these 0 year?
Well,
yeah, that's confusing. That's going to be a little interesting how they play that out.
Okay, so Joker is an early adventure showcasing the maniacal exploits of the clown prince of crime.
So it's going to be the purple suit.
Yeah, because he's got his face.
Yeah.
Riddler is early year Riddler, but it takes place during 0 year, so that's in the current continuity for the Batman book, right?
For anybody who can't see Ryan right now, the look on his face as he's recounting this.
I'm trying to squint my eyes to make this work. The Penguin is current. Is the Penguin's latest quest for power? Blah blah blah. That sounds current to me. And Batman is gone. Bane. I'm sorry. Batman is gone. The inmates of Arkham Asylum are running around in the streets. Blah blah blah. That sounds like it could be current. So I will guess.
Bane is running around in the Talon book right now.
I'll fucking kill you. I think I'm sure it'll all be fine. Just read your goddamn books, Charlie. Come on, stop asking me so many questions. Jesus,
You're not even going to read them until next year.
They'll be in the past by the time I read them. Sure, so it doesn't matter when they are. Hey, I'm caught up with Green Lantern until this week.
He's caught up with one title out of
four. All 4 out of 50, out of like 40. I'm like 10% caught up. Okay,
how is that 10%?
Just take it when you can get it, bro. Just take it when you can get it.
DC also announced today, out of the fucking blue, that they were bringing back their Retailer Roadshow, which longtime podcast listeners may remember was one of the very first things we did when we started this podcast. Was I went to the Retailer Roadshow at the announcement, basically, for the New 52 books.
Didn't bring any goodies back.
Man. Oh, I brought goodies back. They're all my collection or on eBay. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, loves how he shares the wealth, man.
I share the wealth with my wallet.
Douche.
Hey, so I had to buy tickets. And
I had to pay for this, which went into my account, which went into this, and blah 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 blah. blah.
Okay,
yeah, Roadshow, go.
Sure. $200 for flights. Not cheap.
Where is it?
This is in Burbank.
$200. Fly
I
Southwest. They're the bus of the air.
There's still $100 each.
I got effing shafted.
Occasionally you get a $60 one. But
I got shafted.
To do that too.
Yeah.
The day I got everything set up for the first roadshow, they were $89. The next morning when I went to book them, they were all $200.
Jesus.
And I'd already got everything set up, and I was like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me!" So they bring back the roadshow, New York, Orlando, Burbank, and Portland. So this is going to Manchester and Jordan up. They're all going to be doing this. We meet up with DC guys, and the reason the Burbank one's awesome is because last year it was actually on the Warner Brothers lot, so that's badass.
That is very cool.
So I'm going to be going to this one as well.
Can you bring a friend?
I may be able to.
Duke it out, Charlie Brock.
It's all right. I can duke it out. I'm going. You guys keep duking it out.
I don't have enough money for the ticket, so Charlie wins out on that.
Okay, can you bring 2 friends?
So
See, Charlie knows I'll just show up.
Yeah.
I'll just appear.
I'll just have to be like, is there such thing as a bathroom pass to leave the lots?
So I'll be real
Charlie knows
curious
as well.
I'll be real curious to see what we talk about this year because Brock earlier was with me when I ran.
You were throwing numbers out at me.
Yeah, I ran through all my DC sales from about May of 2011 to current. Not every month. I picked and choose a few months. Just to kind of get an idea of how many DC books we're selling. Pre-New 52, I looked at a couple months pre-New 52. I looked at the month of the launch of New 52. I looked at the 1-year anniversary, which is when they had the 0 issues. And then I looked at our May numbers. Now, our May numbers are a little bit skewed because, it hasn't had as long to sell and some subscribers haven't come in and yada, yada, yada. What I found was our current DC number sold, and this is just for the store, it is actually about 5 copies less per book when averaged out across all the core DC titles, excluding variants and kids' books and everything, than it was a month or 2 prior to the launch of New 52. Now, the month New 52 came out, our numbers were through the roof. I mean, 2 to 3, more than 2, almost 3 times as much as the numbers prior to New 52, and that included like 20 Flashpoint miniseries and all this other stuff. And it was like at half the SKU numbers, the actual barcodes. It was way, way, way more stuff. At the 1-year mark, it was about 50%, 40% from the prior. And now we're down to less titles, but less copies sold. And on an average, like about 5 less per store. And you think, 5 isn't that much. Multiply that by about 50 titles. Multiply that by $4 a book, $3 a book, and that's a significant amount of money. And we're not the biggest store on the face of the earth, so if we're down 5 copies, Midtown's down 25 copies, 30 copies per book.
So, just a quick question in terms
From
of these
pre-New
numbers,
52,
'cause
by the way.
You're talking about how they were skewed a bit. Are you looking at your monthly totals or the total number of issues sold for a book that came out that month?
I looked at the numbers, the total numbers of copies sold of books that came out that month. So if they sold 6 months later, they're still counted in that. So just a pure number sold of books released in that month, not sold in that month, but the total. That's why I said comparing it to May is a little bit unfair because we'll sell an extra 5 or 10% of these books as time goes on. But the difference is clearly different, and we're not going to make up those numbers.
The expectation may be that you might reach the same number, but probably not more on most of the
I will sell 5 or 10 more copies of Justice League and Batman, but not enough to make up Legion of Superheroes and Firestorm and Dial H and Demon Knights and Teen Titans.
Hey,
and
Demon
Vibe.
Knights is good.
But I'm only going to sell maybe one copy in the next 6 months, right? I mean, because indie books will sell for months and months and months and months and months. I'll sell a copy here, a copy there, a copy there. DC, Marvel, I sell 90% of what I'm going to sell between Wednesday and Saturday.
I'm just curious, if you're down on average 5, do you think you'll be down on average 3 after 6 months? Like, where do you think the average will actually level out on that?
Like I said, I would imagine I will sell another 5 to 10% across the board by the time my sales are at 0 and I have taken them off the shelf. So that may be an extra, half a copy or a copy. It's not going to be a ton. I will sell, again, Batman will sell Justice. I mean, I'm still selling Justice League #1s for Christ's sake. These things, some of these books do continue to sell, but it's so few compared.
Okay.
So I'm, this again, boring retailer math for most people, but if you have an idea of what goes on at these sort of retailer meetings, this will definitely be a topic of conversation because it's not good. I love DC. A lot of us here love DC.
Which is odd because we've been more profitable.
The last few months of the store have done really well.
Yeah.
We've sold a lot of books, but it is a lot of HeroClix and back issues and Marvel and DC. And, our Marvel numbers are down from 2 years ago as well, but their published titles are down. If DC sold, the percent wouldn't increase for DC, but if DC sold or had 10 more titles, I'd be selling more books. So, with the Superman Unchained, there's your 10% right there.
Yeah,
that's your bump
Superman
alone.
Unchained's coming up. That's going to be huge.
That and Superman Batman.
Superman Batman as well, yeah.
Those are both going to be...
It's actually Batman, Superman.
Whatever.
They changed it up this
Yes.
time.
But
alphabetically, they had to change it up.
They had to give Batman his front.
Those books will be a huge boost, and clearly post Villains Fear Itself, whatever the hell is Forever Evil.
Forever Evil.
You just think of it like a James Bond intro song.
After that, we're going to get like a Joker and a Lex Luthor ongoing book. Like something's going to come.
Is the Shazam book ever coming? By the way, they ever announced that?
No, it's got to be soon. It's got to be
after Trinity War,
maybe.
Probably. That's
the
maybe.
next issue is supposed to be the wrap
final
up
with the Gary Frank, the backup issue.
I read something about Justice League of America is going to be a Martian Manhunter book.
Oh
for a few months?
Backup. The MGMT writer, Mind of MGMT, Matt Kint, I think his name. He's going to write like 5 issues of Justice League of America, and it's going to be like a Martian Manhunter story.
Yeah, like that's cool.
I think the sales of that book they're probably going to drop.
But is it
for that?
But is it going to be all just Martian Man? Because he's doing the backup.
Yeah, which is a Martian Manhunter story, I think, at the moment. But yeah, it's going to be... It said I read this morning, it said Matt Kint taking over 5 issues for a Martian Manhunter something story. So it's going to be about him. I don't know if the other members of the Justice League are going to be in it. They have to be. Yeah. There's no way they can just turn it into a Martian Manhunter book for 5 issues.
If it's co-written by Jeff Johns and it's a Martian... It's like that Shazam.
I don't think it's co-written by him, though. I think that it said that it was Matt who was taking over.
His name will be on the front cover.
Yeah.
Regardless of how much he's doing. Well, that was actually a mistake.
Oh, I heard about that. They straight screwed that whole thing up.
Well, a quote-unquote mistake. I'm sure by not putting...
No one would have bought fucking Aquaman if it was written by... Who was it? It was... I don't remember. It wasn't Jeff Johns.
He's great, but it's not Jeff Johns.
Exactly.
When I saw Jeff Johns' name on the cover, I was like, he didn't do this issue. And I flipped the side. I'm like, they didn't credit him on the inside, but they left the credit where it mattered. And that's
what they did with like Talon, too. It was like Scott Snyder and James Tynion or whatever, but just Scott Snyder like plotted it.
Right.
But
Well, I mean, they do that all the time. As long like the second issue of Justice League of America Vibe had Jeff Johns' name on it.
But it was Sterling
also.
Gates or whatever.
Yeah.
But I swear they left his name on there because when they redid the scene from like the Justice League of America book in there, they used the same dialogue and everything. So technically, Jeff Johns did write like
That's two paragraphs.
That's
some
interesting.
that's some finagling there. So was there a quote was there a flashback of a previous Jeff Johns story in Aquaman, and so they threw his quote in there? Oh, because he wrote it.
Was the actual writer's name even on the cover of the book at all?
No. God, why the hell can I remember who wrote that?
It was a Batman.
He's so great,
he wrote
too.
Batman for a while, but can't think of his name.
He also wrote Suicide Squad and all sorts of fantastic stuff.
Glass?
Huh? No. Gage is listening to this episode. John Ostrander, thank you.
John Ostrander. Yes.
Gage is listening to this episode, just being like, "I'm gonna kill you! I'm gonna kill you!" It's John
It's just
Ostrander.
that old slow Suicide Squad.
Yeah. So, yeah. What is it? Forever Evil. Forever Evil is going to be interesting.
Speaking for the poor college student fan base out there, I'm your voice. I'm here for you. I think the 3D cover thing is kind of lame, just because all your books for a month are an extra $1. I mean, if it was a choice, I mean, like a digital combo pack, they have the choice. You have like a couple half and half, whatever.
They're doing the .1s. They'll probably throw a digital code in there for you too.
I don't care. I mean, like an extra $1 for every book in the month that adds up. I mean, if you're a guy reading $20, that's an extra $20. I mean, and what if we don't want the stupid 3D cover? Even though if it might turn out cool,
And you're reading Batman, there's going to be 3 more
Exactly,
titles. And then
Jesus
there's the Johns
Christ.
miniseries, which is another 4 titles.
it's a very Marvel. They're definitely doing a very Marvel-esque kind of thing, pulling a page out of Marvel's book. I mean, but if it works for retailers, I mean, for you, it's probably going to be awesome.
Well,
I mean,
what's
that for
funny
us
is-
poor kids is going to suck.
What's funny is you mentioned pulling a page out of Marvel's playbook. It's people bitch so much, and I'm not against you.
No, of course.
This is people bitch so
Asshole.
much, and then I look at
totally against you.
and then I look
dude,
at the
it's
sales
okay.
charts, and then I look at the sales charts, and I look at what sells, and it's like people may be saying that,
But it works.
But the reality is that every time it works, and if DC,
Fucking A. Why do I have to pay for Bob Harris's fucking boat?
well, DC,
Fuck this bullshit. Omar, all the swear words are for you, by the way.
on the Fat Man on Batman podcast, that Kevin Smith one that he does, that one with Dan Didio, which we were talking to Gage about this earlier, but I actually,
Yeah, I got to listen to it.
but I had heard other people mention this as well. They said, they really DC really took a look at what made Marvel so interesting those first few years when they first launched back in the 60s. And they sort of tried to replicate some of that with the New 52. Well, whether they succeeded or not is questionable. But I get what they're trying to say. They want to have the stories kind of self-contained with some amount of crossover, but also bring in some new interesting characters, new villains, which I think DC's done a really good job of bringing in some new villains, new
The Owls too. That was probably
Yeah.
the most successful. That was awesome.
yeah, a lot of new side characters, and I think a lot of the stuff has actually worked pretty well for them.
I think the problem is their rollout. Like we talked earlier about that, where
Well,
they're rolling out all these titles when you kind of have to have a history to roll out certain titles.
But there is a history to it. I mean, that's what I'm saying. This took place 5 years ago, and it's not like they're going to launch one book and then 2 books the next month and then a book the third month.
Wait,
and,
that sounds like Marvel now.
well, but that's sort of how they did it. So I get what DC's trying to say with this, but they had other issues with it. I don't know. We'll see where they go with it. I had somewhere else I was going to go with that conversation, but I don't remember what it was.
Fail.
So it's fine. But yeah, I think.
I just want to know about this new technology that prints these 3D covers.
Yeah, like I said, I really hope they give us copies.
And I'm pretty sure DC already did this shit. Like, right before Final Crisis, remember they had the villain covers? Remember they did that shit?
Faces of Evil.
Face of Evil. This is essentially the same exact thing. All the villains took over each book for like a month, and like they had the really cool Catwoman, like Paul Dini story. I remember,
Yeah.
but like other than that, like it was the lead up to Final Crisis. Ended up having nothing to do with Final Crisis.
But they didn't do any. It wasn't really a gimmick.
It wasn't a
just,
miniseries.
It was just all the covers were.
But no, but
kind
the
of
stories
same
inside
format.
had something to do with the villains too. Though it was like
Yeah.
a villains month.
Yeah. All the issues did. Well, here's a problem I have. So the 0 issues that DC did last year, those really kind of cut those stories in half, and it was a little jarring. Hopefully, DC has allowed for this and all the arcs are ending the previous issue, and then this is a one-shot, and then we are going on to new arcs. Because so many of those books, when I was reading Zero issues, was like... Oh,
right in the middle.
And in the middle of a story.
Well, and then
like
Resurrection Man Zero was the last issue.
That's fine. Like, I don't care about that. I don't like
I was like, what the fuck?
Well, no, then we get done... Yeah, and it wasn't much of a Zero issue at all. But, no.
I think Batman was pretty good there because I think they did it right after Court of Owls or Night of Owls ended. And it was like a Joker story or whatever. The origin
some of them worked fine. Yeah. But a lot of them
was good too.
Yeah, but a lot of them were just like...
Random.
Yes, didn't really work very well.
Yeah,
And
Suicide Squad was one that was a little...
Yeah, Batgirl.
Wonder Woman was weird too. It was like a total random middle of the... It's
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Well,
Wonder Woman hasn't really had a clean story.
Continuity story. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I got one other story this week. This is totally just for me.
So, moving on.
They announced last week that Rebellion, who are the publishers of 2000 AD, classic British comic book anthology, has been running forever and ever, in December is going to be releasing a 480-page hardback collecting the entire Zenith series by Grant Morrison that's been out of print basically since 1987 when it came out. There was like one version of these soft covers that came out and nothing ever came out of it. However, they're doing it. They got the rights back. They're publishing this thing. Steve Yowell is the artist, and they're just going to put this thing out. It's £100. It's about $150 US.
How many pages is it?
480. It's very limited. I think it's limited to 2,000 copies. You can only get it on 2080's website. I will be camping out overnight. I will attempt to on my computer. I will be attempting
to go to England or Scotland
I will attempt. If I could probably fly to England, fly back, get this thing there, and it would still be cheaper than what this book would be going for in 6 months.
I'll go with you.
This book, dude. Zenith is one of those things where there's going to be 5,000 people out there willing to pay thousands of dollars for this thing.
I'll go with you. That way you have two.
And you can flip on eBay.
Yeah, two that way.
The fact that there's only going to be 2,000 of these two makes this crazy rare. I don't expect most people to know or care, but this is one of the very few Grant Morrison books I've never had a chance to read. And Zenith is that's where he started everything.
We could get two, then you could put up all the pages on the walls here.
As wallpaper.
So everybody could come in and just start reading.
And just start reading?
Yeah.
I'm very excited for this.
You put up systematically, so you don't have to go through books and then
give people turns. Days they come in to read certain issues.
They might pick up books as they come in.
Yeah, I'm very, very, very excited for this.
And it's good though. You haven't read it, but
I've never read it. I have actually.
What if it sucks?
Then I wasted $150. But it's Grant Morrison, so it's not going to suck.
It's not going to suck.
I actually have the very first softcover, which actually I should get around the flipping on eBay one of these days soon because it's going to be worthless in a couple months.
Of course.
Not really. If it's a limited amount, it's still going to be fairly popular for a softcover.
Yeah, not that many people are going to have it.
Yeah, possibly.
Unless this is the precursor to them re-releasing the softcovers.
So Zenith has a funny story. There's apparently, I don't know what happened to them. Maybe they got destroyed by now. But they reprinted it in a softcover, big fat softcover. Maybe it was just volume 1, but I know there was some form of a reprint. So maybe it was the first half or something in one big trade paperback. But they could never release it. It was sitting in a warehouse for like 10 years, 15 years or something because it was not allowed to be released. There was some legal thing, and they printed it and everything and just sat there. And it's like, wow, get these out! Someone go rob this place and go get these out on the black market or something. How can these just be sitting here? They may have pulped them or burned them or something, but. So this is the closest we've gotten to an actual copy of this in over 20 years.
Wow, this is me just going, so maybe you don't want to flip your book until this actually comes out.
Yeah, what if there's a change?
Well,
and then your book is going to be 5 times that it is now.
And possible. Well, I don't...
Just so everyone knows, this is all speculation.
This
example of speculation.
This talk that Morrison hasn't even okayed the release of this, so that's kind of a question of, how's this even going to come out? So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I have no idea.
Speaking of UK books...
It would be funny if Morrison is protesting his own book. I don't want this to be released. Who's with me? And the fans no, we want to read it.
People have done that. Absolutely.
There's an I'm trying to get that Out There book bound, and I can't find that issue 15. Apparently, they're going to release a trade of it in the UK, the whole thing, plus an extra story.
Oh, really?
So now I'm just like, screw it. I don't know. I'm like, well, that one.
It's probably Rebellion because they do a lot, or Panini because they do a lot of the UK reprints.
So I heard something about that. I was like, oh, you bastards.
I think I have a full run of that somewhere.
I'm just missing issue 15.
It doesn't need it now.
Yeah, I don't need it now.
All right. Yeah, I guess before we wrap up, last week we talked about the start of the Comicspiracy
We need like a cool intro for this.
Book club.
Do like a cool intro. Like, get excited. Like,
last week.
No, like, it's the Comicspiracy Book Club.
I've been trying to get the Ryan to do this for a while now.
Well, we got it, and now we're going to do it.
And I picked yours.
We're going to, every month, the first week of the month, one of us is going to pick a title to read. And the last week of the month, we are going to discuss the title. Some small length
awesome.
on the
That's a good
podcast.
idea.
Yeah. The goal for these is to be a lot of either standalone or first volumes. Try not to pick like Action Comics Volume 1. Nothing like that. But I figure a lot of
who would want to read that Grant Morrison
not
shit?
Not the good Action Comics #1. But a lot of these, will be stuff that's our favorites, and I promise, despite my first pick, that we're gonna try to stay away from being all DC because I know we have a tendency of being very DC favorite on here.
No.
However,
Lies.
I think our first
All
pick
lies.
trumps any sort of Marvel, DC, or indie superiority or whatever have you.
Widely
regarded as one of the best books, superhero or otherwise, published in the last decade. I would argue most people.
I don't think Brock's very interested, guys.
No, I already called
No.
it. Like I came in on Saturday going, "What are you going to pick?"
It's obvious.
And he's like, "Oh, I haven't thought about it." And I'm like, "Well, my guess
I have
is you're
no
gonna pick
fucking idea.
this."
Just ignore what he's saying and think Ryan.
This book is something that is near
Grant
and dear to my
Morrison?
heart. You're on the right track.
Hey.
Fucking
This
hey.
book is something that's near and dear to my heart.
All-Star Superman.
It is also very timely due to the release of a certain movie coming out
Jesus
next week.
Christ.
I haven't been on the podcast like in 6 months.
This
and I already
did
called
not
it.
work out the right way at all.
The first Comicspiracy book club is going to be All-Star Superman, which is, I think,
I gotta fucking sit
Fitting?
through a Frank Quietly
Fitting.
book? Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Watch
easily.
your next words wisely.
Easily,
it's penis.
we know.
It's
We know.
penis.
It's the penis.
It's the bulge.
Channel.
Yeah.
We, one of my favorite books of all time, and I would,
And one of
I
his
think
favorite
most,
pages of all
most
time.
people would argue one of the best books published in recent times.
You know what's funny?
So-
I have this vague memory when I lived here as a kid. I came into the shop the week that All-Star Superman #1 came out, and I remember hearing Ryan already preaching how
yeah.
great
Oh,
the
I
book
have
was.
been.
I remember that. It's so funny.
If
So-
Did you just
think-
say when you were a little kid?
when I was a little kid, All-Star Superman #1 came out probably when I was
Is
like
it the-
13 or 12 years old.
How long ago is it?
He makes us feel really, really
I'm
old.
let's say I'm 22 now. That book probably came out 6-7 years ago.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like,
Teenager? Not a kid.
Okay, well, I
Right.
shouldn't have said little kid. When I was adolescent, I don't
He wasn't
know.
allowed to smoke or carry a gun legally
Yeah, exactly. Or
buy
porn.
Playboy.
A lot of people don't like Superman, and they're like, "Oh, he's gay, or he's stupid, or oh, how can you be?
What's wrong with gay, right?
You're I'm just using the internet's negatory, negative,
the internet.
Right, I'm
Quoting.
quoting the internet in this a specific point.
We don't want these words to be misconstrued.
Again.
And there's a lot of people that hate Superman. If you are one of these people that hates Superman, or maybe you're like, "Oh, I have no interest in the Superman movie," or "How do you defeat Superman?" or "He's powerful," blah 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 blah. Do me a favor. Read All-Star Superman. This book answers all your questions. If you read All-Star Superman and you're like, "Yeah, that was okay," but All-Star Superman's or
I think
Superman is still
watch,
stupid.
Superman Elite. That was fucking awesome.
If you think Superman's stupid after reading All-Star Superman,
There's
more
no-
power to you.
there's no help
You're
for
not.
him.
You're never
There's no
going
way,
to.
yeah.
Don't read any other Superman thing. Just do whatever you're going to do. I'm not mad, but it's just like this is the thing.
You're banned from the store.
No, whatever. I don't care. But I'm just saying, if you didn't like Superman and you're like, whatever, this is a weird thing. I don't want to read this. Read this. If you don't like it, whatever.
If you have
Talk
the
about
chance, the Absolute Edition is fucking
It is
insane.
amazing.
I have it. It's so
Okay,
good.
so how much is the trade paperback?
I believe it's $19.99. It could be $24.99. I haven't checked.
if you haven't read the book, just
right
buy the
there.
Absolute anyway. It's fine. It's only like $100.
That's like 5 feet from me. I can't.
It's like probably 24, I think.
Hey, man,
No, it's
Superman looks so-
$29.99.
Is that the
looks-
Canadian
Yeah, no, 'cause
price?
It's
Is that no? It's 20.
It's like 12 issues.
The Canadian price is $34.
Okay. Okay. Well, it's $29.99. Either
no,
way.
It's glossy paper.
There's a lot of stuff in there. That's like a 12 issue book.
Yeah.
Superman
12
looks
issues.
really chubby.
It's 12 issues. That's Frank Quietly's way of trying.
How do you hate Frank Quietly? Dude?
Oh, I can't stand him.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Can we do for tomorrow, the Alan Moore one?
No, it's Ryan's.
For tomorrow.
That's the
That's
Azarello.
my
That was the
favorite.
Azarello Jim Lee one.
That was-
Whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow?
That
That's why it's
one.
like 2 issues though. It's not even like a
Doesn't matter.
trade.
That's my favorite Superman
That's
story
good, that's
ever.
good stuff too.
That is very good.
But All-Star Superman. Yeah.
Oh, there's a
I
penis.
promise.
There's a penis. We can
I-
play how many bulks do you see in one?
If you do get the soft cover,
The current
it's
soft trade.
page 252.
That's Ryan's penis.
Wait,
page.
let me see.
I own this page of art.
He owns this page. Right.
It's in the back. It's in the
all
back
of it
room.
looks like.
But imagine this in black and white. It looks like he's holding a giant penis. And you know what's funny on this story is I didn't even notice it till Ryan pointed it out to me.
'Cause other people pointed it out to me. It is a great half spread from Frank Quietly of Superman
hosing.
hosing down the what the hell's his face? Solaris, the sun god's cage with
yeah.
molten lava. Fuck you! That is incredible. This is Morrison at his Morrison-iest, okay? It is
Morrison?
awesome.
What if Morrison one day comes in here and goes, Ashley, it is a penis. I just want to see how I can get away with things. He goes,
I'd be fine
all
with
these
that too.
Disney people got away with it for so many years. I just want to see if I could do it too.
I'd be fine with that too. This book is incredible. Liquid Kenzo, sorry. I know you're like, don't DC. But yeah, I promise I will not pick a DC.
I thought it was
book next
also
time.
Superman for the movie.
Yeah, there's that too.
I would probably say that what was it, issue 11? I think the second to last issue is probably one of the best single issues of Superman to come out in the past 20
Yeah.
years. Probably it's just amazing.
Yeah, it was one of those rare books where I was every issue that came out, I reread the entire series up to that issue. The only other time I did that recently was with Final Crisis and also Batman R.I.P., both by Morrison. What do you think
I just
of
got
that?
the Final Crisis Absolute edition. It's awesome. Superman 3D, Absolute, so cool.
What do I think of that? The fact that you have to read those over and over again with a Wikipedia page open just to understand half this shit.
I read it because it's so
Read
good.
Super Gods, then read Final Crisis, and
I'm
that
about
shit
halfway
is awesome.
through Super Gods.
Having
Super
trouble?
Gods?
I stopped.
Super Gods rules, dude. And at the end of the book, he actually does a really cool description. He goes in depth of what Final Crisis is really about, and he gives actually a really good explanation. And after reading Final Crisis, after reading Super Gods, it was really cool. I liked it a lot more. It was really good. And the Absolute Final Crisis has the Batman two of the Batman issues stuck in there that the hardcover didn't have.
Yeah.
As well as a Submit or whatever, and then
Yeah,
the two
yeah.
Superman Beyond issues.
Yeah, I think it's all the Morrison issues.
Yeah, all
are
the
in there.
Morrison. No, well, did
It's-
he write Submit, or I thought Greg Rucka did that?
oh,
Or
maybe
no,
maybe Rucka
Rucka
did.
did Submit, and I think Superman Beyond was
That
no,
was
Superman
Morrison.
Beyond was Morrison.
Yeah.
Morrison. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Those two are absolutely vital to the main story.
course.
Like you cannot. Oh, they are
Superman Beyond, especially at
Yeah.
the last issue of Final Crisis. If you didn't read Superman
It
Beyond,
would make no
it's
sense.
fucking no sense at all.
Yeah. Not that it made sense anyway. That's my Brock impression. I was going to say, Brock, since you are the second host we had in this podcast, you should be going next. So next month will be your
I know.
pick.
Well, we get to pick the books?
Yes, of course you get to pick.
Oh,
you
I
have
didn't
to,
know
you have
that.
to tell him like the
Yeah.
month.
Well,
Like
no,
when I give mine, you have to tell him so he can order.
So the first month of July, first week of July,
month of July?
will be your pick. So
Yes,
and we'll go from there.
So everyone has to read the book, and then at the end of the month, everyone talks
And
about
I mean, if you can,
I'm
I mean,
pick a fucking out of print book, so everybody has to go.
Don't- yeah, don't do that.
I'm joking. I'm joking, guys. Come on.
So if you're around, we have plenty of copies of this book in the store. We can always send them to you. We do mail order and everything as well. Yeah, so there you go. And there's your pick. All right. I think that's it for
Do
this
we have
week.
a copy of the Absolute one?
Yeah, I got a copy or two over there. Thanks, Tom.
it. Random pick. We have to do a pick at the
Ugh.
end. Gotta do a pick.
Do a pick.
Me?
I got nothing.
You got nothing?
Well, okay, I totally got a pick. What the hell issue was Daredevil that came out this week or this last week?
23.
Was it
24?
Was it? It's whatever the blue cover where he's like walking, kind of like walking.
Do you know
on
that
the
it
thing.
says Daredevil on the cover and the clothes? The clothes makes the Daredevil.
No,
word.
really?
Yeah.
Does
You
it?
should look at it. It's really cool, actually. Someone on Reddit pointed that out, and I looked at it. It's actually pretty cool.
I've been a fan of the series since it started. I was kind of the last handful of issues. I was like, man, this is okay. And then this most recent issue came out, and holy crap.
I gotta read
This
it.
is one of the best issues I've read. This may be the best issue of the series, or one of the top 2 or 3. It blew my mind. We kind of get the big reveal of who's been behind it all since
Thank
the
you,
beginning.
Tobias.
No spoilers. Again, as I said earlier, it has one of my favorite panels in recent memory with that elevator page. And
I really want to read this.
Just so good. So good.
If I had to do a pick, I'm going to throw it back. It's not a current book. It's already finished. But Rick Remender's Uncanny X-Force. I recently reread the whole series. Awesome. Dark Angel Saga.
Random picks don't have to be current. Just anything.
Yeah. Dark Angel Saga. Fucking awesome. Archangel shit. Apocalypse. So good. And the end of that series, I'm not going to do a spoiler alert. I'm not going to ruin it, even though I totally want to. I'm going to say it. Wolverine drowning his own son in a shallow pool of water.
That's a pretty big spoiler.
Well, I'm sorry. I blew it, but it's too fucking awesome.
You know what, though? I wish they could kill Dakin every day of the week.
I know.
Okay?
Especially that last couple issues make you hate him so much more. And then it's just cool, though. I mean, remember, he gets emotional on you. They do like the cool little flashbacks or like the alternate realities of what it would have been like if Wolverine was there to raise his son. It's good. I mean, I read the last issue last night. I was on the bus, and it's pretty deep shit, man.
Yeah.
You watch a father drown his own son in a shallow pool of water is like one of the gnarliest things I've ever read in a comic book in a while. Ever since I read Preacher, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah, awesome shit. Sorry I spoiled it. I blew it, guys.
There's still plenty more to talk about. What's going?
Sure. I'm going to go with Superman Secret Origin by Jeff Johns just because I really like Superman by Jeff Johns,
Superman
even more
month.
than Morrison's.
There's
Okay.
so many good pages in that book, too.
Yeah.
That Gary Frank kills it on that
Yeah,
book.
a lot of Superman the motion picture kind of throwbacks. And,
Totally.
and, yeah.
Christopher Reeve.
Oh, he basically.
No, yeah, he is,
It is
yeah.
Christopher Reeves in that book. Yeah,
That's like
absolutely.
a total awesome tribute to him as well, I think.
Gary Frank's one of those guys that there are bits of him that I don't like. There are bits of his writing style or his drawing style that I don't like. But man, when he's on and he nails it, he is fantastic.
Some of the Shazam shit's been kind of weird. Like, it's been rushed, I could feel like,
Couple, yeah.
But, yeah. I was going to say, like, when you're talking about Superman books, suggesting if they don't like All-Star Superman, Secret Origins would definitely be right behind that.
That would be my number one
Because that's more
suggestion.
mainstream. Also, Superman, like you said, like the shit you're talking about with the sun god and the hose, that's just pretty out there. And if you're not like into that crazy sci-fi shit, like I think Secret Origins is a more grounded version.
It's the other half.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of feel like All-Star Superman rekindles the love for Superman if you already had it.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Secret Origins would be better for like an actual
Yeah.
brand new reader or someone that's never read Superman before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could see that.
I would definitely agree.
Brock,
Huh?
you got something? What have you
Charlie
read?
is holding his mic.
What have you
I
read?
know, I was like,
I'm a little scared.
He's like
Something
doing
is about to
stand-up in
happen.
front of me.
He's about to drop the mic.
He's like doing stand-up.
He's very ready.
He's gonna freestyle in a second.
What? I can just mention that first Jeff Johns left Green Lantern. Now Matt Smith is leaving Doctor Who.
Oh, there you go. Big spoilers.
I'm gonna go with something I wanted to reread for a while, and that's Batman Hush.
Cool.
I haven't read that in a while. So, and with Superman Unchained coming out, it's like I kind of like, I'm gonna go visit Batman and Jim Lee again.
Is Superman Unchained? Is it a miniseries or ongoing?
Ongoing.
I do not believe Jim Lee's participation is going to be ongoing. He's probably doing.
Do you think Scott Snyder's is going to be ongoing
Yes.
as well?
Yeah.
They have
Scott will
to.
be ongoing until.
Because that'd be
until
really
the-
fucked if DC. Oh, Scott's hired Jim Lee first 3 issues, then issue 4.
They're not pulling in Avenging Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Well, let's just put it this way: even if they do, the book will be canceled after 8 issues.
Yeah. When is that? That comes out this month as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Superman Unchained and Batman Zero Year, 2 probably the biggest books.
12th, I think.
May
Yeah, I think it's
variants destroy the world.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Lots of variants.
So Batman Hush is my pick.
Toby, you got anything?
Well, I think I may pick up the Hitman and Gotham Central today. So.
No. Nice.
I just finished Gotham Central for the first
Oh,
time.
that's awesome.
I have all the hardcovers.
Oh, they're all.
Oh, you have the first
I don't want
hardcover?
these.
Yeah, no.
There's
what's that?
hardcovers.
You have the first hardcover?
No, well, it's the hardcover. Oh yeah, I have the first. I have all 4 of the hardcover versions of those. Yeah.
Where?
I'm only missing the number 1.
I don't know.
Out of
I got them when they first came out a couple years ago. I never got around to reading them all.
You know, you're probably the one who
Or
bought the
Bigger. little bit, a little
Well,
bigger.
no, the paper was that size.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just the normal
hardcover, yeah.
Never mind. I'm not worried.
Yeah, don't worry. I wouldn't say it's not that big of a different. But yeah, that series rules.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
He's the one that bought him out from under
I know.
most,
It just occurred to me.
The mic is getting higher again.
When DC smartens up and says, hey, look, we want to do a show based on Batman, it needs to be Gotham friggin' Central.
Well, maybe after the Shield show is successful, if it is successful, they'll.
Yeah.
Grow a
Proper
bit.
Birds of Prey
See,
could have been
it
fine.
all
Proper.
hinges on Man of Steel.
Dude, too much.
No,
I
I
get
think
anxiety
for a
thinking about
TV
that.
show, it all hinged on Arrow.
Arrow,
So
So they just need to get a character that takes off like half their clothes for Gotham Central.
They could do that with Gotham Center's women.
maybe, I was going to say,
middle-aged
maybe
men.
this time it will be a woman, and yeah.
But what's cool about like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, it's like Gotham Central in the sense where it's not a mainstream character. It's all like guys in the background running stuff. So if that's successful, I mean,
Yep.
that would set up something great for a book
Cough
like Gotham
portrait.
Central.
Exactly.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
they just need to contact Dick Wolf and have him do it. Just get it done.
Dick Wolf. All right. We're going to wrap up now. Thank you for listening. Hopefully you guys can participate in our Comic Conspiracy Book Club.
So are we
Did I
going
miss
to
out on the
get
Game of Thrones
emails?
talk?
Game of Thrones talk.
Ah, yeah, did I miss it?
It's not the Game of Thrones podcast.
You tweeted about it?
No, I didn't.
They were going to cry for half an
Oh,
episode.
yeah. You missed that part.
Oh, I wanted to do the crying with you guys.
You didn't miss anything. We haven't even talked in a Game of
Oh,
Thrones.
man, I was excited. I even watched on my lunch. I didn't have to fucking... I could go and play basketball. I thought we were going to talk about it.
No, just watch because it's Game of Thrones. It's
No,
awesome.
I thought we were going to talk about it on podcast. That's why I didn't go play basketball.
If you haven't seen Game of Thrones, this episode 9 from season 3, holy crap, go watch this episode.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that. Maybe
Either that or just avoid the internet for a couple
Entire
months.
week.
maybe when we do the Game of Thrones Geekbox episode, I'll smuggle you on, Toby.
Okay.
Oh, he's the only one invited now?
You got on for the Doctor Who cast a few weeks ago, so or maybe we'll.
Can you do me as a surprise where Ryan doesn't even know?
I'll
Like
do you
behind
as a
me under the
surprise.
table, and all of a sudden it's like, we have a surprise. Hello, I'm here.
You want me to do you as a surprise under the table?
No.
Okay.
Holy
Never
shit.
mind. No,
Maybe-
I've
This
forgotten what
podcast
kind.
just got gayer.
I've forgotten what kind of podcast this is. So
Maybe
never mind.
maybe we'll do another non-comic conspiracy in a few weeks, and we can talk about some Game of Thrones after
Yeah.
it wraps up. And
Yeah,
other
Brock.
stuff.
Yeah.
All right,
You guys can talk about it all you want. I've read the books.
Yep.
I'm good.
So you would have been the one filming people as they
Yeah.
reacted.
yeah, they were, that
Read the reaction YouTube videos.
So if you are reading along with the Comic Conspiracy Book Club and you want to send us your thoughts on the books, we'll read a bunch of those. You can email us at thecomicconspiracy@geekbox.net, or you can go on geekbox.net and use the contact form there. You can send it direct to us.
Make sure to put the subject book club and the title.
You can put whatever you want. I'll read them all.
Just trying to make it easier for your filter.
I filter all the comic ones into one thing. It's easy. It's fine.
Except for when he hits delete.
Yeah, except for when I delete my entire inbox and can't recover for some reason. If you want to listen to this episode again or all our other episodes, you can go to geekbox.net or comicsconspiracy.biz. We're also on iTunes. Go subscribe there. Go give us some ratings on there so other people can find us. It's cool. It's good to do. You can go to forums at geekbox.net and talk to us on there. You can also search for the Geekbox Facebook group and join there. You have to send a request for some reason. I don't think it allows just automatic
When are we
joining.
gonna get a comic conspiracy?
I am working with the Geekbox. It's fine. You don't need another one.
No, it's not.
It's
Always
good.
like the little chump on the side.
Nah, it's fine.
You never
It's
get
fine.
pinned on top because there's a Geekbox episode every week.
Well, I can pin us on top as well. It's fine.
No, they're not.
We got plenty of people in there talking comics, so that's a lot of fun going there and go hang out with those
They,
guys.
they don't have the conspiracy group to go to.
If you want to follow us on Twitter, we're on Twitter. I'm Ryan Higgins Ryan. Brock is Brock Sager. Toby is Toby XI. Charlie is Insanity and Chaos. Brandon, you doing any Twitter stuff? You doing?
No,
any
I'm
people to
not
follow?
a Twitter guy.
Okay.
Eh? Isn't that like your generation of people?
It is, but you know what? I guess
Your
I'm just.
generation of people.
Well, obviously, already made us feel old.
What do you
so-
mean, you people? No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not on Twitter. I have like a Facebook.
You are part of the laziest generation ever.
I know.
Period.
I
ever.
didn't say
Done.
that part. I just said you guys were technology
He has like
advanced.
he has like 600 Hawkeye tumblers though,
Yeah,
so it's
there
fine.
You go.
So it's
there
fine.
you go. Exactly.
Yeah,
yeah.
you gotta explain Tumblr to me one of these days.
Yeah.
Omar is Comics Antikine and Bryce is Larson Bryce. Hopefully those guys will be back with us in 2 weeks when we have our next episode.
Why are we taking a break?
It is my girlfriend's birthday, and I will be. No. I was like,
Can we take a break when my girlfriend has a birthday too?
sure.
All right.
Have to get a girlfriend first.
Can we do an episode without you?
Snap, huh?
Can we do an episode without you?
No.
Ryan's gonna come back and the storage is
terrible.
gonna be thrashed and there's pizza all over the place.
So, Charlie, we're Skyping an episode, right?
Yeah, we could.
Nice.
Do that.
Dude,
That's what
if you
iFamily
want
guys
Brock to sully the Infinite Long Box, you can go for it. And meanwhile, you can go listen to the Infinite Long Box at infinitelongbox.com. You go to Brock's blog, conspiratorBrock.com. You can go to Comics and Kind, that is Omar's blog. Digital comics, you can buy from us, digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. We're on there.
And All-Star Superman.
And you buy also Superman on there as well.
Yep.
Good choice. Per less than the physical copy, but then you don't own a physical copy, so buy either. I think that's it.
In fact, I'd almost be willing to bet you'll probably see a sale on that around about the time Man of Steel comes out.
Oh yeah, they'll do like a Superman like 201 sale like they did. I think they did one for Batman when Dark Knight came out. So they have like 200 issues of Batman on sale for 99 cents each. Yeah. So you can score that for $11.88. Yeah, sounds right. Yeah. It's a good deal. That's it. We'll be back in 2 weeks for Superman talk. I'm gonna go listen to some Infinite Longbox podcasts next week. And
They might not come back,
Get your
though.
comic news, huh?
They might not come back. They actually talk comic books over there and read them.
Yeah. So don't do that, Charlie. Sorry, we're not gonna plug your podcast anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to come listen to the Infinite Long Box.
We're like news and store. We're a little different here. Would you know?
Like current events.
You need a little of everything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. You need a little of everything.
We're just the open mic streaming of crap.
Yeah, sure. Well, that's everybody.
It's really just me that doesn't read books. I'm really just judging myself here.
I
right there
read
with you.
dozens and dozens and dozens of books a week. It's just half of them are from 6 months ago. So that's all it is.
And you're all caught up on the
And the other half is from a year ago?
No, the other half is like current stuff. Like I'm caught up on most of my Marvel and most of my indie books. It's just my DC books I'm so far behind on. But I am making progress. There are less books in my box when I put my next week's books in there. Like, it is not growing, it is actually shrinking, just not at the rate I want it to.
Shrinking at like an issue and a half.
Yeah, a month. Yeah, you're not wrong, but it is shrinking. So a couple years, I'll get there. All right. We'll catch everyone in a couple weeks.